Just another beautiful morning out here in the world of fog. Maybe the good Lord will come through these clouds later today. Or maybe it'll be something from CERN, I don't know. You see that black line? Look over here. See if I can get a better shot to give you all a perspective. It looks super shitty out. Even my, this little thing right here be saying like, hey, be careful of the fog. Oh shit, I'm about to smack this motherfucker. Get out the way, homie. So look, last night, real quick, I put in like the destination I had to go to. And of course I really didn't know anyway, but so I put in lock in my destination, and I'm like, okay, bet. Now I lock it in on the IHG app, which is like where I get where you get Holiday Inn hotels or whatever. So I put my location in for closest hotel to where I needed to be at, right? Y'all see my state of existence the other night. I'm tired. I still am, bro. I'm trying to catch up on this sleep that I didn't get for the last, like 2 months, but especially last weekend. But long story short, I ended up, last night I was still up, and I'm like, fuck, something don't feel right. And I'm looking at like the trip report and all the shit I always had to figure out, because these people don't tell me the fuck. These people don't tell me where I gotta go. All that shit's on me. I just get like I get a project number. I get a couple pieces of paper through the computer of like, for example, I'm going to do a startup on a certain machine, so that means I have to do this, and this, right? Like, make sure the machine, woo out the bam, is running, make sure the rotation right, make sure all the shit connected to the PLC, all the wiring's correct, make sure the wheels are properly placed so that the drum screen don't come apart. It's like a 6,000 pound machine running on 4 trunnion wheels, and if the wheels ain't set like perfectly, you gotta have 92% running on them wheels, otherwise that bitch will come clean off. So long story short though, like I always try to do my little I call it like homework, because this shit all like new to me still. And right now I have an opportunity where I could get a job doing what I usually do, which is like these contracts, right? These people, look at that fog. These people is offering me $90 something an hour, guaranteed 60 hours a week. Even if they went on strike for say like 2 months, you talking about $100 an hour, more or less, just to make the numbers easier. So you get 100 times 40, that's $4,000 right there. Then you get your 150 at overtime, and that's a guaranteed 20. So that's 3 bands. So that's a $7,000 check before taxes every week minimum. I believe it's, like usually I work 84 hours when I work those joints, like 12-hour days, 7 in, 7 out. I don't give a fuck. But I'll probably be out there for like a month and a half, 2 months. I'll run up 50 grand in like 3 months easy, and then I can fall back. But it's not a permanent solution to a life, right? So it's like I'm contemplating like the job I do, which makes me go somewhere every week, and like, yeah, it's alright, but like, like my life sucks. But my life don't suck, but like the shit that goes on in my life sucks. And I believe a lot of that is due to the fact I'm always on the move, and it's hard to get comfortable and shit. I feel like homeless 9 times out of 10, even though I got like a place to stay or I got money for a hotel. I don't have any place to call home, right? So I have a storage, is where I keep my shit, my tools, my clothes, my blanket, my pillow, all my shoes.
There's low visibility reported ahead.
Heard that? Low visibility. Damn, I'm pushing 82. I don't give a fuck. Anyways, so basically I'm saying like it make it real difficult for anyone to have like a relationship in life, and make it difficult for anyone to have any type of commitments. I used to go bowling fucking like 3 times a week. I was to the point where like I got my average up to like 190, 200. Like I was knocking down stripes like motherfucking a professional bowler. I almost thought about being a bowler for my career. And then I started this job, and I ain't been bowling but one time. And it's because I found a 24-hour bowling place somewhere in like fucking Tennessee or some shit like that. Weird. But again, like, I have the choice to do anything I want in life. That's why I do not believe in saying like I can't do that, or somebody telling me they can't do that, because there's the only thing about you can't do is that you won't do. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know I've said it probably before, but like, don't tell me you can't rob a bank, because you can. I won't say it's not consequences if your ass get cooked, but like, nothing's stopping you except for you won't. So I have a hard time with the word can and can't, especially can't, because if you can, then you should, or you would, or like, you know, it's like when a teacher used to ask you, you'd be like, hey, can I use the bathroom please? And she'd be like, I don't know, can you? You know, trying to correct your grammar and be like, you know, actually, may I use the bathroom? Which is, you know, little things in life, little things in life like that is like kind of important to know, because you want to be able to not talk like an idiot like me at the time. But like, so like, I know how to incorporate my business persona, I suppose. Like, yes sir, no sir. I learned to sir shit real well, you know, especially in them places. So like, yes sir, no sir, you know, right to it sir, no problem sir. All that shit, like, is very simple for a man like me, because at the age of 40 something, I ain't went this whole time, you know, like in my 20s, being like, nah, I ain't calling you something, man, fuck you. You know what I'm saying? Like I was my own boss. When you're 20, you got a lot of friends, you got a lot of shit going, and it's just, you know what I'm saying? You don't really get being an adult until like you have to be, right? So I got tired of sitting in them places. I beat that 10 years of fucking being on paper, where every job I went to, I had to, you know, explain what the fuck happened in my life, which is all petty shit. Oh, adult store, wow. Just kidding. Anyways, I went from that to this, right? So like, super grateful that at least I'm able to get myself into something like this. But see, I was blessed. I was blessed by my, you know, like my best friend in the world, you know, Richie. He had passed away like when we was kids. He passed away in like 2009. So that's 14 years now. No, I'm sorry. It's been a long time, but like, it's not a day that goes by I don't think about that. That was my brother. That's why I got him on my arm. So anyway, like, I lost Richie. I lost so many people, right? And like, I'm like the last one left sometimes. So it's not always the easiest thing when like you grew up with zero parental whatever in your life. I mean, oh yeah, I had my OG, and like, she married, and this might be where this shit come from, because she married this dude who worked for the technically for the FBI, not the FBI, but the FDA, so the Food and Drug Administration, which is a branch of the government. Dumbass carried his little badge like he was something special, like could tote a pistol, but like, bottom line, like, it made me think, I wonder how many government employees get the opportunity to like, oh, you know what I'm saying? You got somebody you want to volunteer to put in this program, woo out the bam, because this would have been like, I mean, I'm a shorty at this point. Fuck. When I was living with my OG and her husband, you know, that was back when I was like, man, I had to be like, let me think, I think they got married when I was like 6 or 7, right? So probably like around the time I was in first grade. Something like that. I really don't remember all that well. But first grade through 8th grade, I was living with my OG and her husband. And I remember back in, I think it was 7th grade, these people put me in a mental institution. Because that's what they were told to do by the school. I mean, it's whatever, but like, it just made me think sometimes, like, y'all started me out in an institution at a young age for no fucking reason. Like, y'all put me around people with a lot of problems. And what the fuck did you think was going to happen, right? So, I mean, that's how I started my life. And I never made it to no juvenile delinquent hall or nothing. Look at this spray. Never made it to no juvie, because like, I was I wasn't bad like that, right? I wasn't bad like that. I wasn't gangbanging, none of that shit, because I grew up in the suburb. I didn't have to. Every time I went to a county jail or something, they'd be like, what you is, man? Bro, I just be me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember one time when I got sent down to Lawrence from doing a bit in Illinois, and they sent me to a max joint because I fucked up my work release. So I went from having like the privilege of going out every day and going to work and having my best friend's mother make me a sandwich. This is how they kind of come into play. She used to make me food every day, and she's like, man, she's the greatest person in the world. Like, she's like my third mom, you know. Gave a fuck more about me than my real mom. So like the love them people gave me was like love I've never felt. And like I'm running with their son who, you know what I'm saying, like he liked to party and shit. What can I say? And that motherfucker was so cold-blooded. Like, he didn't give a fuck, man. Like, you want to talk about not giving a fuck? He didn't give a fuck. That kid was so bad, bro. He didn't do it. He did whatever he wanted. But I could trust that motherfucker with anything I had. You feel me? So that was like my ace right there. Well, his old man happened to be the president of a company that did chrome plating for like parts for like what you call it? You got like Harley, Big Dog, Chrysler 300Ms, all sorts of different all sorts of different parts that we would do. Mainly like the Ford F-150s, them step tubes, like this guy's step tube. Like when they were chrome, we would do those. Long story short, we did a lot of shit at that place. But like what I did was I learned how to work a little bit. Like I didn't understand having a full-time job because I was still trying to fuck around with the streets. And a lot of times he brought me, you know, to work, and I know it was to keep me from fucking up, right? And like the man gave me some of like the greatest opportunities in life. He put me back in the wastewater department, and I didn't even know what I was doing when I was doing it, right? I learned how to pass. I learned all the mathematics and all the chemistry involved in wastewater and pHs and chemical reactions and, you know, just so much different shit that like I didn't realize what a valuable skill he was giving me. And I remember when he told me about the position, he's like, and it only happened because it was three of the Latinos was back there, and like one of them was finna get smoked and deported, and they was gonna crack the whole house. So what happened was that man voluntarily went back to Mexico, and then they needed some guy in the night. So I had been there for about like 5 years, working on first shift with working on first shift with one guy just being his helper, forklift and all that other shit, and watching him and just kind of understanding the wastewater process. So then I got a certification that says I was certified to, treat as a Class K in Illinois. So it's an industrial wastewater certification. And that was, I could treat nickel, copper, chrome, cyanide, all sorts of shit. And then everything that went along with it. I understood everything. And that was something that has been the greatest blessing I ever got, because now it allows me to go to Boeing when they're on strike and be the first person they call, because I can run the whole facility with no help, no instruction. I just do the shit. But now, again, like this job, when I took it, I thought it was a wastewater position, like I've been doing, and it's not. It's like I got tools and shit. It's like a millwright type job almost, right? Like this is for like mechanically inclined people. Like the job I did last week was taking apart a giant ass machine, putting it back together. I think the company charged them $85,000 for us, and 3 of us went down there and finished it in a week, right? So my point is, like, all these little things in my life that like I was able to at least do when I was younger, and throughout all the bullshit, because 20 to 30 I was in and out. But now, again, some 13, 14 years later, I'm posting videos about the drones, because I sometimes wonder, like, how they get put in this little program, just like I'm sure a lot of y'all do. And I know it's probably 9 times out of 10 it's got to have something to do with all them situations I was in. I remember one time I was pulled over in Oak Park, Illinois, and police pulled me out the car. I didn't have a license at the time, but I used my homie name, and his shit was legit, so like that kind of helped me in my case. But the cop pulled me out the car because my eyes looked a certain way. Okay, whatever. The the girl I was with, the reason I called her that, because she genuinely, like, was. Look at that fog, though. Like, she was stealing from me. And this time I was worth like 6 figures. Like I got up there in the streets. But like, I learned a valuable lesson again. Go back to my friend parents. She used to tell me, anything you don't get through good, honest, hard work, you will not keep it. She say, like, that's what the Bible's saying. Woo out the bam. And like, she not necessarily no Bible person, but like, when she lost her son, like, her faith, I don't know, you want to call it her faith or her intuition, or her outlook on life, like, how many mothers have to deal with losing their child when they're 19 years old? You know what I'm saying? Like, my mother did it on purpose, right? She didn't give a fuck because she's more worried about her shit. God bless her, you know what I'm saying? But like, that's why she don't get a say in my shit. That's why I barely talk to her. That's why I barely, you know what I mean? For what? Ain't no reason. Like, y'all don't help me. Y'all wasn't there. When I go back to Illinois, I don't never stay at their crib. Last time I stayed at their crib, her husband wanted to get loud, man. I'm at the point where I could smash that dude, and I don't do it because I constantly try to stop doing things that I used to do, right? But I suppose my point is that, like, your family isn't always the ones you're birthed with. Definitely not your aunts and uncles. Them people don't give a fuck about you. The 2 times I've been down was both times was because of my supposed family. I had 2 uncles, and both of them told on me. Well, one of them told on me in Sal Harbor and his daughter, when really that dude was a bitch, because he married a Latina woman who was like, she way out his league. And I remember this being 9-10 years old. I remember her, and having like this red Firebird back in the 80s and shit. Like, she was with the shits. I ain't know, but like, all of a sudden she was gone. Guess what? She married that motherfucker, and like, at that time you needed to be married for 3 years before you could walk away with citizenship. Well, she was pregnant though. She had a kid. And she told that loser, his name Rob, by the way, he is a loser. She told Rob, dumbass, like, hey, look, you fucking chump, I don't want to be with you no more. I'm finna divorce your ass. Well, good old Rob knew about her little side business with them cartel people, right? Her ass she was driving, you know what I'm saying? She was driving them bricks for the Mexican peoples from Aurora to Chicago. If y'all don't know about Illinois, Aurora is about like an hour outside of the city, but like it's in Kane County, and they do they got their own shit going on. They gangbang out there, all that shit. Like, it's like a little ghetto, but like a ton of stash houses be out there. It'd be like stash houses. It's just one of them places, right? And that's where she used to get her shit. So for every brick she'd drive, I think she would take 3 at a time. She'd get $500 a pop. So she was making $1,500 just to ride to the city and back. And this is back in the 90s. And she was doing this the whole time she was married to that loser. But Buddy didn't like the fact she wanted to divorce him, so what do? He upped the phone and he called the police on her. She goes to the county jail. Them people come and pay her bond, $250,000. They pay $250,000 cash and get her up out of there. They told her, hey, look, if you come back, if you go back to the States, because like she made it to Mexico, right? If you go back to the States, and something happened, because they knew she had a daughter out there, and that's to show you how strong a mother's love is. But like, if you go back to them States and get smoked, we're gonna cut you off, period. Because what they did was they bought her a brand in Mexico. It was like having like a F-150, a S10, whatever, like a pickup. A brand new truck was nice already. Plus, they was giving her $1,000 cash. They was giving her $1,000 cash every other week or something like that. So, and that's in Mexico. They're gonna. So all she had to do was keep her motherfucking mouth shut and stay her ass home. Instead, she came back to visit her daughter. She snuck back because her brother was out there somewhere in Joliet, and she was seeing her daughter. And guess who found out? Oh yeah, Rob. He found out that she was in town. He up and called up people on her again. They snatched her up. Now she was stuck with a no bond in the county, and she violated them cartel people's law. So not only was she finna be cut off from the hand that was feeding her, but not only that, but then her ass deported. They gave her fucking, I think they gave her 7 years or 6.5, and she had to do those 6. She did 85%. Or no, they gave her 12 and she did 6. And then she had to do 6 months of immigration. She didn't speak a lick of English while she was out here, right? By the time she left them penitentiaries, like she was speaking like better English than Spanish. She told me she almost forgot. And I used to talk to her on the phone because I speak Spanish just a little bit more than people who can't. But like, I was essentially helping her daughter, which was my little niece, I suppose you would call it. But like, helping her daughter, I wanted to help her daughter connect to her mother, because what happened to the daughter was not right. And that's just me. That's my personal thing. So I would buy phone cards. I would help her to learn Spanish. And so that's how they got the low on the crib, because my uncle knew where I was staying back in like 2005, 4, 8, whatever. And his daughter wasn't there one night, and he thought she was with me. I'm like, nah, I'm in Rockford. That motherfucker called the police on me and gave up my location. Low key, they had a warrant for me from a couple 2 or 3 years before that they never told me about, from some activity that happened at a bar one night, and I ended up in a hospital, leg fucking, all sorts of fucked up, staples in my leg. I mean, cut through my tendons and shit like that, because I have real beef in these streets. Like, suburbs or not, like, motherfucker got money on my head. Like, I see his ass, let's get it. Well, we got it, but like, here's the thing, like, I got charged with some shit, but I never got charged with the shit because I was in a hospital. So how, if I was in a hospital and the police came, how I never got a court date? You know what I'm saying? So basically, they used a case that I didn't even know about just to come and get me whenever, because I know they was watching me back then. I was in a little fucking rich suburb where super like most churches per area, etc., etc. And I hope y'all like the view. I'm just giving y'all my morning view. But like, so they gave, let me rephrase that. He called on her. She got her 12. She did her 6, etc. I started talking to her because now after she did 6 and this and that, now I'm about like 20-something years old. And that's when I'm trying to reunite mother and daughter, because like I have a strong feeling of like what family should be, because the family I never had, right? So that's why the shit killed me the most with my situation right now, because I don't want nothing but to give a child what I never had. And I'm dealing with like, some other, that's my own personal shit. But long story short, we talking about like my family is not my family. You know, my old man, he still fuck with me. Rocking with the old man. But like, again, he's tired of me too. And who, I get it, you know, but long story short, or long story long, how I want to do this one, because I mean, it's a 20-minute video, riding down the street, just showing y'all beautiful Pennsylvania on my way to this job location. But like, again, just when did it start? How did it begin? There's so many different things that have happened. Like, from going to that time when I went to SEG for fucking 4 months, no phone, no this, and I had to talk to the psych doctor, and like, you know, he might have put him on me because he's got direct connections, being a psychiatrist for the Illinois Department of Corrections. I want not no medications, but you still got to see the psych doctor when you go to SEG, and that's just how it is. So, was he putting people on a list back then? Because I was in SEG in 2016, 15 to 16, and then I got out, I think, like February, some shit like that. May, maybe. I don't even remember. A long time ago. Maybe it was 17 that I got out. But anyways, no, it had to be, yeah, it was probably 16, 17. But anyway, my point is, between having the fucking phony ass, look at these fucking chemtrails, phony ass step parent in my life, and I'm getting kind of close. I'm supposed to be there at 8. I'm looking, I'm beyond time, and I'm not coming this far again tomorrow. But again, like, just look at these streets. Okay, so let me just wrap this up real quick. Did it come from my OG's husband, who hated me, who liked to put his hands on me when I was fucking like 10 and think he was tough? That dude was a straight bitch. I went out to New York and I had to get, like, I think I was like 18 at that point. I was on fish tour. And I happened to go to Saratoga Springs for a couple nights show. My OG was staying up in Albany, New York. I went out and visited her, and while I was there, you know, got into it with her husband per usual, and he up and called the police because I said, "Hey, remember all that talk about let's go outside?" I said, I'm big enough now. Let's get it. Well, instead of doing what he said he was going to do, which was, you know, probably teach me a lesson or some shit, he knew his time. I was too. I don't know if I could have took him at the time. I was still 18. I was young, so I wasn't like I am now. I wasn't like but I was a lot young. You're a lot younger. You got a lot more endurance, I guess you could say. He didn't want it. He called the police. I get my police escort to the Saratoga or New York airport, Saratoga, up wherever the hell I came from. They sent me back to Chicago, and that's just. But I'm just saying that dude right there. Did he have an in with the government? Absolutely. Was there possibly something going around, floating around, for government employees that want to make some extra money? I would not be surprised. A little incentive, seeing as how he was taking my old man child support and putting it into his own pocket, bitch ass dude. But was it there? I don't know. Was it time I got stopped using my homie's name and they illegally brought me in? I refused to give them blood, or I refused to piss because they want to hit me for a DUI. I refused all that shit, and they handcuffed me to the bedposts. They handcuffed me to the bed and stuck a catheter in me and just stole that shit out of me. And I don't remember. Maybe they put something in me. Who knows? But these are all like little things that have happened, and I got a million more little things that have happened. But this was just today's ride. Right, so I'm just saying, like, family ain't your family. Your friends is only your friends until they don't need you. You got some like some people who understand that shit, and I know about 500 of them, or 450 or whatever, 420 of them or something like that are on my channel type thing that probably have been through similar shit, and that's why I speak my pain through this story, because I think it's important that like y'all know that y'all not the only ones, and that I give a little background about just what I've gone through to get to this point. You see what I'm saying? It's been nothing but a life of fucking misery and pain and all that other shit, and that's why I constantly say I cannot cry, because I get all them tears were gone by the time I was like 13. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't nothing to cry about anymore. And it was time to man up, you know what I mean, and get my shit together. I moved out when I was fucking fit. No, I was like 16, 17 when I left for Colorado on my own paper. You know what I'm saying? Like, I left that bitch with like 30 bands. Cause again, when you're young, you got a lot of motion when you're young. And you know, a lot of people, you got friends, all sorts of shit. You feel me? Like, so it's so simple to go ahead and, let me just pull in this gas station. It's so simple to fucking, I might have to cut this one short at this point, but it is absolutely so simple to fucking idiot. It's so simple to fall into these type of lifestyles and habits and shit when you're young. And my point is, then to now, this is where I'm at. You know what I'm saying? I don't feel like I'm 40 something years old, but I am. And that being said, foggy and shit, it's been 31 minutes. Hope y'all enjoyed the ride with me. We'll chop it up again. But nothing about my shit is ever lie. I never lie on anything. And that's just because I don't do that. I don't need to. I don't need to lie about anything. I tell y'all the truth because I want y'all to know my story, right? Because maybe my story and y'all story is a little bit similar, a little bit different. But the bottom line is, we are good people. And being a good person, you pay dividends for that. It hurts. So I got to say, I got to run this water treatment plant here. I'll give y'all an update a little bit later in the day with where I'm at. Talk to y'all soon. Much love. Y'all be smooth, man, because you know it's not a smooth world out there. Just be a smooth criminal, and you'll still get caught. Trust me, I ain't never served the police. Never. Change phones. So all that shit don't matter. That's why I say if you in the street making money, you're doing it because you're working with them people or something, because everyone get popped. And the people I know that got popped never did no time. Yeah. That's why I had to sit down with the DEA, the FBI, all that bullshit back in 2010 on my first case. That's enough. Much love, y'all. I'll be back. Take care of yourselves. And I really appreciate all y'all nice messages and shit. That shit mean a lot to wake up and see that shit. God bless y'all, man. It's a rough life. I'm glad to have y'all. Much love.